Hello my lovelies, welcome to another edition of Cooking in Heels. So today you see what we're making. We're making a good old southern comfort food. It's been requested in my family for me to make these this week, and it is my smothered pork chops. Let's get started. Okay, here in a little Pyrex I have some flour, which is just plain flour. I have about 1.5 cups here. And then here I mixed my seasoning. There's a little salt, black pepper, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder. We're just gonna take a pinch of this and put a little bit in this flour so that when we dredge our pork chops, they get seasoned right from the get-go. All right, so let's get our pork chops dredged and put aside, and then I'll show you what we do next. All right, so what I have here, kiddos, is some beautiful pork. It's thinly sliced. That's the way we like it. There's about 3 pounds here. The fat is nice and trimmed off. If you're a vegan, you know, you might need to do this with some fucking tofu or some shit. I don't know. But we like meat in this family, so we are going to use these beautiful pork chops. Now what we're going to do is season these pork chops with that seasoning blend that I made earlier. I'm going to season them liberally, just like that. Get that, all that seasoning on these pork chops. We'll flip them over, and then we'll dredge each one in here. And then we got some good shit coming up. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so you take your pork chop and you dredge it in some flour, and then you shake off all the excess. You just want a thin layer of flour here. It's going to help with the gravy that we're going to make. It's going to help thicken up that gravy, and it's also going to give it a beautiful coating on the outside. So we just go through, lightly dredge. Remember, we have the seasoning on the pork chops and also the seasoning in the flour as well. So we're going to continue. I mean, these are just gorgeous, gorgeous thin sliced pork chops. We're going to continue doing this with all of these, and then I'll show you after that what's next. All right, everybody. So our pork chops are nicely thinly dredged in a little bit of all-purpose flour. They've kind of been sitting while my oil has been heating up. It's not a dirty pan. This is from use, people. This is a used fucking pan. It gets used almost every day. That's why it looks crazy. Anyway, we take our pork chop with some tongs. We don't have to dirty our hands again. And we, boom, we're gonna lay it in the oil, about 1/2 cup of oil. And we're going to just brown these. We're not looking to cook them. We're just looking to brown them. Get a nice crust. Get a nice crust on your pork chop. And don't worry if we're not cooking it all the way, because it will cook in the crock pot later on, after we're done getting a nice brown sear on both sides. Nice brown crust on both sides, and then I'll show you this delicious recipe. This recipe I got from another YouTuber, Cooking with Carolyn. If you've never seen her, y'all, she does some good southern cooking. I've been using this particular recipe for over a year now, and it's definitely a family favorite in the fall and winter. Make it once in a while. I probably make it maybe once or twice a year, but it is very good and it's very comforting. And so yeah, I'll link the recipe down below. Alright, so I just flipped them over. It's been about 3 or 4 minutes, and you can see we have some crust on it, but you can see the pink, so that's okay. We're going to just brown the other side. I'm going to put them over here, and then they will finish cooking, like I said, in the crock pot. But look at these beautiful babies go. It's like a friggin' hot tub of pork. I mean, what? It doesn't get any better than that. And the smell right now, oh, it smells so good. It's a great recipe, y'all. You must try this. You must try this recipe of pork chops my British accent. I don't know why I just did that. But anyway, y'all, so let's keep these browning, and I'll finish the rest of those, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done with that. Alright, guys. Bye. Alright, kids. So, here I have a red onion that I've just roughly chopped. I'm using red onion because I had one that I used earlier in the week that I hadn't used up, and then I also have half of a white onion, so I'll use them both. And we're just going to chop up onion. You could put celery, you could put bell pepper. Brandon doesn't like bell pepper, and my husband doesn't like celery, so I just put onion only. But you could put whatever you want. If you like those ingredients, you could totally do that. So we're just chopping these up roughly. It doesn't have to be perfect because they're going to cook down to almost nothing when they cook eventually in the crock pot. So let's chop our onions, and then our pork chops are doing good. They're resting over here. Got 2 more left there. We're almost there to the home stretch. Almost crock pot time. Alright guys, at this point you want to turn your slow cooker, turn it on to low, because you never want to put hot food in a cold slow cooker. I learned that the hard way because it ended up cracking this this glass here, or the ceramic. So turn on your slow cooker now. And then we have our onions chopped. We also have 4½ cups of chicken stock and 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour again. So, and I didn't use that extra onion, so I figured this was enough onion for the recipe. Alright guys, I've drained most of the oil that we fried the pork chops in, but I left about 1/4 cup in there for the onion. So, we're going to saute this onion until it's nice and tender. Don't forget, season every layer. Add a little bit more salt, over the shoulder for luck, a little bit more pepper, and let's get that cooked for about 3 to 5 minutes. I've said this before in my cooking videos, but don't be afraid of that what looks like burnt on the bottom of your pan. It's definitely not burnt pieces. That is all bits of flavor. You want to take a wooden spoon or something and just kind of go like this and get all that up and into the onion, because that is pork chop flavor that you can't get anywhere else by seasoning or whatever. That comes naturally from when you fry the pork chops. That flavor is in there. So this was only about 1/4 of a cup of reserved oil that we used when we drained our pork chops. They're sitting there beautifully waiting for Mama to put them all in the pool. Alright, so let's brown these up, tender them up, and then it's crock pot time. Look at that. So delicious. Now, you make a little well in the middle here, and put your flour all over the onions, and you cook that until it is a light brown in color. Just like that. Cook all that flour out, cook all that flour taste out, and you just stir it around your onions until all that white is gone, and it turns into a nice Latino color. A little bit brown for my brown friends. Alright, you just stir that up and get it nice and coated. Get all that white, just like that. Make sure that there is no more flour that needs to be cooked. I'm trying to hide over there in the corner. I see you. I see you, little onion. Alright, it's getting nice and thick. What I like to do is I like to, once I pour my chicken broth in, and that's 4½ cups. What we're doing is we're making a gravy. Yum. So what I like to do is switch to a whisk and just keep whisking this up until it thickens up. And this is what we're going to put in the crock pot. We'll put this thickened up gravy in the crock pot, and then the pork chops go on top of that. And you cook that low and slow for a couple hours. But this gravy is going to be out of this world. Alright guys, our gravy is thickened up. Look how beautiful that is. And I was going to say too, if you don't like onion, you don't have to put onion in here. You can do the celery and the bell pepper instead of the onion. It would be just as good if you're allergic to onion or whatever. So this is looking absolutely beautiful. So now what we're going to do, see if I can do this with one hand. I don't want to. Okay, so we're going to pour our gravy in our crock pot, just like that. Oh yeah, baby, sit in a nice fancy pool. And then we're going to go and get our pork chops, and we're going to put them inside this gravy and let them cook on low for about 4 or 5 hours. And then they'll be tender and juicy and soft, and we will serve them over white rice or mashed potatoes. White rice, brown rice, whatever you like, or some mashed potatoes, and that is dinner. And as soon as I get the plate together, I will show you the plate and have hubby take a bite. All right, guys, let me get those pork chops. Alright guys, one by one, I've put these delicious pork chops down. Oh, that's hot as a bitch. It's a mofo. You put those pork chops down into that gravy. Ooh, child. You feel like you're in the South. And you feel like, Grandma done cooked up some smothered pork chops. Delicious, easy recipe. And I will show you when it's all done and ready to be plated. Alright guys, see you later. Alright guys, here's the smothered pork chops. They look interesting, but they taste so good. You have the onion and the gravy, and Robert is going to try it right now. Here he comes, and he's going to take the plate.
Oh.
He's going to take a bite.
All right, let me see.
See how tender it is?
Man, I'm just going to go big right here. Forget the small piece.
Look at that gravy, baby.
Ooh. Smells so good.
Tell me about it.
Oh my God, that is so good. It's so cold outside. This is like just warm, and oh, that sauce is so good.
Gravy.
That gravy though. Oh, oh man. Sorry guys, but I'll eat all of this myself.